Hello there, and happy Halloween! It's another very special episode of Electric Sheep taking place on Halloween. And continuing our story from last time, which was Origin, the flying tank prequel. This is also a prequel to our earlier stories. And this story is called Fall and Rise Again. So let's go.
Fall and rise again. My name is Volo. I am the villain who saved the hero from the gears of society, but it was not me alone. After the flying tank saved us from the bomb, they told us it had all been a mistake, a technical error. But you didn't need to be a super genius to realize that sucks as an answer. When they finally shipped us home, we were already broken into two halves. Half of us believed the New World Order was no friend of ours, that we should give power back to the people. The other half, led by the tank himself, stood for order and stability. But even then, he wasn't some merciless tyrant. When we called him a fascist, he listened. There were others, though, on the side of justice, who never questioned the commands from above. And beyond us, the empowered, regular people began taking up the mantles of chaos and order, building their own mythologies in our shadows. That's when the flying tank took a sidekick, a regular human named Terry Goodkind. Terry wasn't superhuman, but he had courage, discipline, and heart. He loved the tank like a brother, and for a while, the two of them made the world believe again. But when the tank refused an unjust order, when he spared a group of villains whose only crime was speaking out against the government, the overlords saw their chance. They couldn't control him, but they could break him. They whispered to Terry, told him the tank had gone rogue, told him he was protecting criminals. And Terry, poor Terry, believed it. He loved freedom too much to see how it was being used against him. So one night, in front of the tank and the entire Council of Heroes, Terry pulled a gun from his utility belt and pressed it to his temple. He looked the tank in the eye and shouted, open quote, "Tank, you've confused me. You say you fight for justice, but you let villains go free. Maybe you love them more than the people. Well, if that makes me a criminal too, then so be it. Behold, I am Dr. Suicide." Close quote. The tank says that was when his danger sense first activated, but he admits he didn't believe it. He thought it was a trick of the mind. And then, boom. Terry was gone. After that, the flying tank vanished. Months later, they found him in an asylum, alone, quiet, lost. He believed his new power was madness, but over time he began to notice the truth. Every time he ignored a vision, someone died. He wasn't insane. He was connected, but he was still broken. That's when I, Volo, made my entrance. I brought him the most powerful thing in the world, the truth. A civilian, one of the countless nameless workers in the machine, had been ordered to destroy classified files, but he didn't because he believed in the flying tank. He believed the hero deserved justice. He smuggled out a folder and I brought it straight to the tank myself. Inside were the secret orders, signed by the High Overlord himself. Orders given directly to Terry Goodkind. Open quote. If the flying tank disobeys, use self-harm to break his loyalty and reinforce compliance. Close quote. When the tank read that, I saw something shift behind his eyes. A storm that had been trapped there finally found direction. I brought him a new uniform, a white cape, a silver suit, and the yin-yang symbol across the chest. He said it represented balance. He said if he was to lead again, he would lead all of us, heroes, villains, and the lost in between. And he told me something I'll never forget. Open quote. Volo, the system may be evil, but people can still be good. So let's make a world that deserves them. Close quote. He smashed into the prisons where men and women were tortured. He asked for their forgiveness. I didn't know how different that world would become, but I knew the flying tank had fallen and risen again.
Alrighty. Um, yeah, I really like this story. This was, in a lot of ways, the original story that I had thought of when I first came up with the character. Um, but I've just kind of been breaking things up. Sometimes I think of things in way bigger stories than I like to actually write. I don't like writing long stories. I like short stories. I like short stories. And that's what these are. And this one was almost 4 minutes, so it wasn't as short as I have been known to go, but it was still pretty short. Um, I didn't emphasize it very much, but it probably should be emphasized a little bit that it was pretty one sided when the tank was on the side of the government. There wasn't much standing up against um, him, but he wasn't about just crushing people's freedoms. But that's what the government demanded of him, and he wasn't about that. And then when they realized he wasn't following orders, they did what they knew would hurt him. And, well, that's also the origin of the titular villainous Dr. Suicide, and that was the friend that the flying tank had lost. Um, yeah, I really like the character of the flying tank. A lot of this is just sort of slowly explaining how his powers work, and this is another piece of that puzzle where he slowly was gaining more powers over time. And even when there was a threat standing right in front of him, he didn't recognize his danger sense telling him, you know, the problem wasn't knowing there was a threat, the problem was acting. In the end, you have to act if you want to make a difference in the world. And I think that's true for everyone. My name is Joseph Arthur Roszell, and I want to wish you all the luck in the world, and I want to thank you for watching. And I want you to remember that I love you and you matter. Peace out.